Hey, how's it going, guys? Geo here. Today we are doing some Endymion test hands. This is meant as a sort of companion piece with our deck profile. I can see I forgot to switch the striker links. Oh well. Uh, yeah, the deck profile is on the other video, which I hopefully will remember to link below. So just to get started, pendulums are in general not a linear combo deck. Endymion is especially not a linear combo deck. You kind of have to have like a goal oriented thinking where there's certain like steps, I guess, that I broadly try to do to be efficient, and then it's kind of about taking what you have and what you need like to get to where you want to go. So the general steps is you want to make Electromite before your Pendulum Summon, and then after that you generally want a live Jackal King as you Pendulum Summon to be safe from Nibiru. And then after that, you in this metagame particularly with like online, I think it's a good idea to try to have some sort of bounce or live Masquerena Unicorn so that you you can stop zoo monsters or other Xyz monsters from attacking directly and making Zeus. I think that's a pretty important thing. And then from there, it's kind of what interruptions you have is it's just going to be what's available to you. Ordering and like trying to get the most out of your spell counters is very important in this deck. You definitely got to think ahead. You're gonna kind of have to play out your turn in your head like until you get to like the random draws off of like Electromite and stuff, and you kind of have to have like contingency plans for if you do not draw what you want to draw. Um, so without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so in our first hand, this is an amazing hand. Like I said, we want to try to get to Electromite first before a Pendulum Summon, and we have Servant. Usually, Servant's kind of a priority to resolve just because it's probably the best card in the deck. We also have Call by the Grave to stop Droll, which is very nice. But generally, I would give it up for Upstart. But when you can already play with the other four cards, it's like, you know. Now here... So the question is, do we Desires first, or do we scale Endymion for the third one? There's a very slim chance we banish both Jackal Kings when we Desires. And it is nice to know what we have in our hand before we commit to another scale. However, Magician Souls would be very nice this hand as well, so we could also get Abductor. So there's a lot of different options here. I'm gonna Desires first, because I think we have so many options, I need to see what we draw first. So we get a Mastery. We lost one Jackal King, which is expected. We lost the one Souls, that's fine. Do we still have Reflection in the deck? We still have Reflection. Oh no, we have Reflection in our hand, which is also fine. Yeah. Then we lost one Magister, so we basically are only out Magician Souls. So we're gonna grab Jackal King. Because he will be our negate, like as we Pendulum Summon. We would like a normal summon would be nice. However, as long as we have something in here with counters, we can use Jackal King for Electromite and it will be fine. I think I would rather have Reflection on the field here. Yeah, okay, so I'd rather have a Reflection on the field and use her to make Absolute so she can be in the graveyard for Celine. So we have the bounce live for the opponent's turn. And then ideally I would like another Endymion as well, or Magister, just to to help make Absolute. Yep, okay, so here we're gonna add Magister as our high scale. the reason I'm using Magister as the high scale is, or why I'm getting the high scale now, is because we can, like, if Electromite gets stopped here, we will be able to scale in Reflection as our low scale, and then we still have Endymion plus Jackal King, which is it's far from unbreakable, but can often stop you from dying if necessary. So we already resolved Servant. It would probably be best to get another good low scale, or we can get something else for Pendulum Summoning out. We will be scaling her, so we are already we are already going to be Pendulum Summoning 2 from the extra deck. So we basically, if we add something else to the extra deck and then add back Servant, it's kind of a waste because we just don't have the zones for that. So yeah, we're gonna just send back a better low scale. Oh, technically, I should have also I should have scaled Magister before Reflection so he could start building spell counters on it. And if it was a live spell, it would matter. But in this situation, he would only have 2 spell counters on him anyway. So it's not really it's not really a big deal, I guess. Because if this was live, then yeah, that would be 3, and then I don't have to use Citadel for his effect, and I could save Citadel for her effect. But that is not the world we are in. So now, this is not the most nib safe play we're gonna go for, but we really want Reflection in the graveyard, and I really don't expect a lot of Nibiru in the Master Duel metagame, I guess. So we're gonna go for Celine here. You could do a cross sheep play. Actually, no, you couldn't. Not with this hand. So we still get our Vortex. This is an Omni Negate, so now we're safe for the rest of the turn. Holy. And then Celine, we are going to use her to special out Endymion back out. And then we do not care about linking off the Jackal King, because we got Magister specifically, so after we link him off, we can bring him back out. Okay, so now this is a pretty wild board. It's a Monster Negate, Spell Trap Negate, Omni Negate, and then Celine can bring back a Reflection for a bounce on their turn during their main phase. And then Magister can bring something else out. Like he is during your opponent's turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from your field, special summon 1 monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on. So in this case, it could be after Reflection bounces, or you just don't use Reflection bounce if it's not Zoo. You can bring out another Jackal. Well, here we banish Jackal King, so you bring out another Endymion. With Endymion's effect, you can bounce Jackal King, and then with Celine, you can special back Jackal King from your hand. If Reflection, isn't the play you go for. So you have a few options for how you want to play out your interruptions on your opponent's turn. Yeah, we didn't use Into the Void, so we can just leave this in hand for next turn, and then we just set the cult by, because why not? Realistically, we'd probably use it at some point during our turn.
Mic on.
Okay, so for our second hand, it looks okay. We can make Electromite before the Pendulum Summon. We have a high scale, we have access to 2 Jackal Kings, and we have some draw cards. So, because Cerberus and Jackal here are only going to get so many things, I think we should use them before we use the draw cards. Yeah. So I'm going to normal summon him first, so that he can start building counters. if this gets ashed, it's just completely dependent on what we draw. So I can't really have too much of a plan there. We are going to Into the Void here. Magister's nice. I mean, just pendulum monsters and spells that are not dead are very nice here. So all we really care about. So yeah, we have access to 2 Jackal Kings right now. They are most likely going to be what we pendulum summon from our extra deck. Here, I think, yeah, we should Desires here. Magister is almost definitely going to be our high scale. So I would like to start building some counters on it. Oh, we got Servant. Nice. I don't think we're going to be able to resolve it right away, but it is good to have. And then because we are also building counters on our Magister before we start, you know, pendulum summoning and doing those plays, we will have a live Jackal King negate. Now the question here, is there something that we can make use of with this send? We currently do not have a way to get a bounce, so I think Reflection is the play, because we can special it back out later with Magister. Actually, the other play was to special it out with Magister's effect on your opponent's turn, but that requires a lot of spell counters usually. We got Mastery, which is pretty good. We're gonna use Mastery after him. I'm sorry, after we Pendulum Summon, so we get the spell counters on Jackal King. We could have gotten the Citadel off of this to get a third counter for Servant, but we are probably gonna get the third counter of Servant anyway. So here we need a zone. I think it would have been better to actually special Reflection first, and then overlay into Absolute, and then use the Magister for the second Jackal King. But I messed up, and here we are. It's still going to be a good board. Here, I need to scale it one more time. So so this is a hand where, because of what we drew after we made Electromite, we actually have a lot of plays to do after Pendulum Summoning, this is just what you run into sometimes. So like we got to use both Magister and Servant after Pendulum Summoning, which is pretty nuts. Big issue here is that we are running out of zones. Okay, so this is kind of weird. I actually have not come into this situation before, but I think it might be best to make a 4 material Appaloosa here. like this. And then Absolute will give us Odd Eyes. And then that's it's an Omni negate, a Spell Trap negate, 4 monster negates. They don't destroy, unfortunately. We have plenty of counters, and then Celine will. Yeah, okay, so he will have to bounce himself to negate because it has to return to hand. So remember that, because Celine doesn't go to your hand. And then Celine can special out Reflection or another Endymion, which is pretty nice. And then I guess we also have Cold by the Grave. So yeah, pretty good.